Abushan ha 8 Tvghana so by channel no so like na share we subscribe my little comment so ewo comment section I say na you kwa kopim ewo MILF Mineral Income Investment Fund abushan then eniema ekoso wo ho me say the fusem the abrafosem to ye mine as a country abushan see NBC ko ba power na obeti CEO we akọ interview koka aina MPP aban no wo so no ejisika wo ye see sika si no mo tua keski no mo spend this keski no mo chase keski to Tvghana otisa ansem na obisiana so ubuofu ama aban no ka say MPP for ni mo di Ghana for sika wo obisia. That was the way na so mafa so no mo de kata niema so but the reality net is say a few more in the we won policy ni NDC abide and bad obisia de omodi ababetwam kura de so ya bekosem 2024 the whole year CEO are not for Street in a report away annual report away accounts away auditor or my baby who said evident said the Mineral Income Investment Fund from operations in 2024 might make it profit excess profit to be seen in the history of Ghana in 2024 said that company state-owned company it's make it that professional. It was a good thing. You said the new CEO as say what buy or bagangari what buy. Everything to say and then took a day because she has been caught trying to change figures in the 2024 report now. O my that our home audit here behavior no. Everything was making an attempt to say some of the figures to make it look bad. Now say the Ghana for a better abonte because any half forces so is a half forces with this can be that where they are in fact because I say the authorities auditors and Sakana Auditor General moi. I said the strong message and they command mame yeah reports na be auditor why are you presenting a different report that is more manipulate through different things actually hard as a say the sector no a boka for that but 2024 year I was I say and then guni chimpa and the details ni na about the Brennetin. We are not sure what the comment section as.
We don't know where it is heading, but how did it all start? How did we get to this point where there is back and forth with the Auditor General, the CEO, and all of the allegations that have greeted this story?
Okay, cool. So let me establish first of all that whatever I'm going to say is not an expression of my personal opinion, but it is my analysis of the situation.
Okay.
So first of all, the current MILF CEO, Justina Nelson, was appointed to office on the 14th of January, 2025. So you need to keep that date in mind. It was one of the very earliest appointments of President Mahama when he became president. On the 3rd of June, 2025, the Minerals Income and Investment Fund got its board duly constituted. It's a 9-member board. So January 14th, CEO, 3rd June, board of directors. All right. Then on the 26th of June, so about 23 days after the board was constituted, Miss 2024 audit report was signed off by the CEO, who was appointed on 14th January, and by the board, which was appointed on the 3rd of June 2025. On the 27th of June 2025, the Auditor General signed off the 2024 audit report of the Minerals Income and Investment Fund. So you check the dates. CEO appointment 14th January, Board of Directors 3rd June.
3rd June, yes.
Sign off of the audit report by the CEO and the board.
That's 26th June. Yeah.
Sign off of the audit report by Auditor General 27th June.
That's the following day.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So this process is done. What it means is that the audit report of Minerals Income and Investment Fund was ready for publication after the sign-off of the Auditor General.
Yeah.
Of course, subject to the Minerals Income and Investment Fund Act, which is Act 978, particularly Section 6(4) of that Act. All right. So from 27th of June till 26th of September, this audit report had not been published. In fact, as we speak today, it has still not been published. But an RTI request, a right to information request, was sent to the Office of the Minerals Income and Investment Fund Office on 26th of September 2025. It was an RTI request.
Okay.
And this RTI request was essentially asking for various information or various stuff. It was about a 10-point request that was sent by a former member of the MILF board. So, because I don't want to bore you with so many details and take so much of your time, this RTI request was sent on 26th September 2025.
26th September.
Yes, 26th of September.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
And it was addressed to the information officer, care of Chief Executive Officer, Minerals Income and Investment Fund. The address is there. Request for information pursuant to the Right to Information Act 2019, Act 989. And the applicant in this particular RTI listed 10 things he wanted. One, he wanted information as to whether the financial statement of MIF for the year ending 2024 had been audited, and if so, by who? Have the audited financial statement for 2024 been signed by the auditor? If so, what is the date of the signature?
Right.
Have the audited financial statement for 2024 been approved by the current board of MIF? If so, kindly provide a copy of the approval. Have the audit financial statement for 2024 been signed by the board chairman and the chief executive officer? If so, what are the dates of signature? What was the total revenue of MIF in 2024 audit report? What was the gross profit of MIF in 2024 audit report? So the 10 points goes on and on and on.
Right.
So this was submitted on 26th of September 2025.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
But first, let me ask you, based on the documents you have chanced on, how different are MIF's internally prepared financials from the Auditor General's final audit?
Okay, so MIF is the organization that prepares the financials.
Yes.
And then we'll send it to the Auditor General for the Auditor General to sign it off.
Okay.
So Auditor General does not prepare MIF's finances for them.
Okay.
So that's why that is why the dates that we have chosen, the dates I started with, are important. They are important because, of course, there was a change of government. There was a change of CEO. And so the former CEO, Edward Nanaya Okrante, left office, obviously, before 14th January 2025. So he, as CEO, could not, even if they had started preparing the financials before he left, he couldn't have completed it.
Okay.
So it was the current CEO who came to complete it. That is the reason why it was the current CEO who signed it off together with the board chair on the 26th of June.
How then is she going back to the Auditor General after signing it off?
So that is what we have to unravel, because once you sign it off and give to Auditor General does its work and also signs it off. It comes back to you.
Yes.
And once it comes back to you, per the MILF Act, Section 36(4) of the MILF Act, together with the board, they are supposed to sign it off and then release it. But I think that the MILF CEO considers that provision as necessarily having approval of the board. So, for example, let me tell you, after all these RTI requests on the 26th and all that, MILF on the 15th of October responded to the RTI request, as it were, providing an answer to the one who made the RTI request. So this letter is from MILF. It is dated 15th October, and it is addressed to the one who made the RTI application. So, and it is signed by Justina Nelson, CEO of Minerals Income and Investment Fund. So he says that Minerals Income and Investment Fund acknowledges receipt of your letter dated 26th of September 2025 and September 29th, 2025. So the applicant sent the first letter on 26th and followed up with another letter on 29th, requesting a complete copy of the audit financial statement of MILF for the year ending 2024. So this letter reduced the applicant's request to only one, even though the applicant had 10 different requests. This letter only stated that you requested for a copy of the audited financial statement of MILF for the year ending 2024. This was only one of the RTI requests that was sent. Then the letter goes on to say that we also acknowledge receipt of your follow-up letter dated 14th of October and apologize for the inadvertent delay in responding to your letter. So the applicant, after the delay between 26th September and 14th of October, which was the 14 days that are statutorily required for RTI responses to be made, the applicant followed up with another letter on 14th of October. So it was after this 14th October letter that MILF decided to respond. And this was their response. We appreciate your interest in ensuring transparency and accountability in the operations of MILF. Kindly note that the fund is yet to publish the 2024 audited financial statement, which shall be done once the board grants approval for publication in strict adherence to Section 36(4) of the Minerals Income and Investment Fund Act 2018, Act 798 as amended. Accordingly, the said financial statement shall be made available to you immediately upon its publication in compliance with the Act. Now, this is the response of the MILF CEO to the RTI request, which was sent on 26th September, a follow-up on 29th, and another follow-up on 14th of October. And this response was on 15th of October. So notice, from 26th June or 27th June, when the Auditor General signed off the MILF 2024 audited financials, till the 15th of October, when MILF CEO was responding to this letter, he acknowledges that the audit report has not been released and that she was waiting for the board to grant approval for the audit report to be released. But it gets interesting after this day. And the reason why it gets interesting after this day is because after these exchanges, the MILF CEO wrote to the Auditor General, and the Auditor General's the letter that the MILF CEO wrote to the Auditor General, we believe is dated. It's dated 31st October.
Oh, okay.
2025.
So that's months after the audit was signed and after MILF refused the RTI request. That was when she wrote to the Auditor General asking for a reinstatement of the signed financials, right?
Yes. So So notice that the final date we have worked with right now was 15th of October. Which was when MILF wrote to the requester of the RTI the one who requested for the RTI made the RTI request.
Great.
Now,
yes.
on the 31st of October, MILF is on record to have written to the Auditor General.
Right.
And we know this because the Auditor General responded to the letter of the Minerals Income and Investment Fund CEO, and they responded to it on the 12th of November. But before the 12th of November response by the Auditor General, the Auditor General, as a follow-up to the 31st of October request, had a meeting with the MILF CEO and MILF officials on the 7th of November. So get the dates right. 31st of October, MILF writes to Auditor General.
Then 12th November.
7th of November,
7th.
Auditor General goes to have a meeting with MILF.
Okay.
On the 12th of November, Auditor General responds to the letter of MILF, which was dated 31st October. And this is where the contention is. So, the Auditor General's letter of the 12th of November
Yes.
is addressed the Chief Executive Officer, Minerals Income and Investment Fund, and is entitled RE, that is reference to Request for Review and Statement of the 2024 Audited Financial Statements.
Yeah.
So, the MILF CEO on the 31st of October writes to the Auditor General that she wants the MILF CEO wants a review and restatement of the 2024 audited financial statement.
Okay. And what was her claim?
So the Auditor General's response is what gives us the evidence of what the MILF CEO was looking for, because we don't have the benefit of the MILF CEO's letter.
Okay.
But the Auditor General is responding to what the MILF CEO requested for.
Okay.
So he says that this is Auditor General, we refer to your letter dated 31st October on the above subject, which outlined the issues discussed during our meeting with your team on 7th November 2025 concerning matters you consider material and pervasive to MILF's 2024 financial statements. 2, we appreciate the opportunity granted us to engage with you on these matters. However, we respectively maintain our position that the issues discussed do not constitute material or pervasive misstatements capable of misleading users of the financial statement. So this statement that is being made by the Auditor General's letter is literally saying that the MILF CEO, when you wrote to the Auditor General, indicated to Auditor General that the audit report which has been submitted by MILF under the hand of the same CEO and has been signed off by the Auditor General, the MILF CEO is now saying that the audited report constituted or contained material or pervasive misstatements capable of misleading users of the financial statements. The Auditor General is saying that I reject this your assessment. Okay.
Right.
Then the Auditor General goes on and talks about various things that were raised, which we will not talk about. Investments in Ejapa, gold trading investments and transactions, budget versus actuals, dividend receivable and impairments, exchange gained, recognized, and all that. So the Auditor General comes now to say that 6, our objectives are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether financial statements are a whole or free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an audited report that includes our opinion. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but it does not guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with the fundamental auditing principles of the international standards on supreme audit institutions will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. 7, it is therefore improper to present the alleged misstatements as if the audit auditors prepared the 2024 financial statements of the fund. So the Auditor General is saying that the way the MILF CEO is talking, she's talking as if it was the Auditor General's department that prepared the financials. The Auditor General is saying that we did not prepare the financials.
Yeah.
It was your office that prepared the financials and brought it to us to audit. So he goes on to conclude that we wish to reiterate our opinion contained in our report on the 2024 financial statement. We are, however, willing to cooperate with management.
Hello? Okay, there's a little... Okay.
Financial statements or financial audits. Are we on?
Yeah, we are on now. We went off a little. Okay. Yeah. Hello?
Okay.
Yes.
So you see. So let me wrap this thing up.
Okay. Then I'll ask. Then wrap it up. I'll ask a few. I'll ask a few questions.
Letter. Yeah.
Yeah, you wrap up. I'll ask a few questions. Then we can conclude.
I'm listening.
Okay. So have you seen or have you had any evidence? Okay, that supports MILF's claims of material misstatement, or does the other report contradict that?
Okay, so I will not be privy to that information, but it is the MILF CEO's responsibility as the Chief Executive Officer. If she thinks that the audited report has pervasive misstatements that could mislead readers, then it is her duty to supply that information to the Auditor General for the Auditor General to look at it. Okay. But you cannot go to the Auditor General just stating that you think that the audited report has pervasive misstatements. That alone is not sufficient. You need to provide evidence to the Auditor General. So the Auditor General's letter and response to MILF is essentially pointing out to the MILF CEO that you cannot come to us after we have done our work with empty words and think that with your empty words we will review the work that we have done. We did our work based on international standards. So if you think that something has not been done right, then you need to provide adequate evidence to show that something has not been done right before the Auditor General will give audience to you and even attempt to even make any changes. But just coming with mere words and saying that in your opinion, you think that the audited report has information that will mislead readers if they read it the way it has been prepared. It's not sufficient.
Okay.
So when this was investigated, a media house decided to write to MILF and to get confirmation from MILF whether or not, first of all, this Auditor General's response is even true, and whether or not MILF has had a meeting with the Auditor General officers, and whether or not MILF has made an attempt to get the audited reports rewritten. So we wrote, the media house wrote to MILF on the 28th of November. And that letter was addressed to the Chief Executive Officer. It was delivered by hand and by email. It provides the email of the MILF CEO, justina.nelson@milf.gov.gh, and a second officer, louisa.kweku@milf.gov.gh. And it was request for comments ahead of publication. So this was the request that was made. Our investigations has established the following information. One, that MILF's audited financial statement for the year ending 2024 were completed and duly signed off by the board chairman and chief executive officer of MILF on 26th June 2025 and by the Auditor General on 27th June 2025. That was the first inquiry. The second was that by a letter dated 31st October, MILF formally requested a review and restatement of the 2024 audit financial statement, stating that the statement contained material and pervasive misstatements capable of misleading users of the financial statement. 3, that MILF subsequently met with officials of the Ghana Audit Service on 7th November 2025 to discuss the above request. 4, that the Audit Service, during the said engagement, vehemently disagreed with MILF's assertion that the audited financial statement contained material or pervasive misstatements. 5, that in a letter dated 12 November and received by MILF on 13th November, the Audit Service reiterated its position unequivocally, stating that the issues discussed do not constitute material or pervasive misstatements capable of misleading users of the financial statement. The Audit Service further stated that MILF's use of the word pervasive was inherently misleading. And then 6, that the Audit Service described MILF's request and conduct relating to the attempted review and restatement of the audited financial statement as improper, as if the auditors prepared the financial statement of MILF. So notice, this inquiry by the media house is dated 28th November 2025.
Okay.
Then MILF responded. Then MILF responded to this media house request. And MILF's response is dated 1st December 2025.
Okay.
So inquiry 28th November.
Which is the
MILF response 1st December. It is addressed, the managing editor, the source. And then it says that reference, RE, request for comment ahead of publication. So MILF says that we refer to your letter dated 28th November on the above mentioned subject matter and respond as follows. 1, we confirm point 1 and 2 of your letter dated 28th November 20. They even said 2028, but it's not 2028, it's 2025.
Okay.
So 28th November 2025 instead of 2028. We are not in 2028 yet. And then 2, in respect of point 3 and point 4, we can confirm that officers of MILF met with officers of the Ghana Audit Service. However, we are unable to disclose the discussions had during those meetings, as same is confidential. So this portion of MILF's response was funny because our letter to you was telling you what the discussions were when you met. So when you are responding and confirming that yes, there was a meeting, and you tell us that what was discussed was confidential, we have already told you what was discussed, and you have confirmed that yes, there was a meeting. Okay. Then, as regard point 5, we can confirm MILF received a letter dated 12 November 2025 from the Ghana Audit Service. However, we are unable to disclose the content of the letter as same is confidential. We already have a copy of the letter. We disclosed to you the content of the letter, and we're seeking to confirm. You said yes, there was a letter like that received, but you can't confirm the details to us. We have already confirmed the details of the letter to you in our request. So I can go on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
But the point really is that the MILF CEO decided that after signing off the audit report and sending it to the Auditor General, and the Auditor General signing off and bringing it back, she decides that some of the content of the audited report may be favorable to some people, maybe people who were working there in the past in terms of the success of MILF or in terms of the figures and the profits. So she decides that in her words, she thinks that they may be misleading to people who will read the report. And so goes to the Auditor General and tries to get the Auditor General to rewrite those portions that she considers as problematic. The Auditor General rejects the request to rewrite what the CEO thinks are problematic. But the problem really is the fact that as a chief executive officer,